Oops. Camera's on. And I'm here early in the morning. Whoa, a little wild there for a second. Night shift is over. So I'm going to have a beer this night. I have a couple whiskeys beside me. But Loch Ness, morning dram time. Well, actually, I tricked ya. It's some morning beer time. It's Original 16. Have you ever read the story about Original 16? She's a good beer. They were going to close her down. And 16 of the original employees decided, they went, basically, hell no, we'll be out of a job. She says, this is the Original 16 Copper Ale. Probably shouldn't be pouring it over my brand new computer. I am brave. Woo. Perfect little amount. I can rest. How's work for you today, Loch Ness? Now, let me tell you a story about cans and liquids in them. My bother. I haven't even been drinking. It's a cool story, though. It is. I really want to go there now because I read about their master distiller. I have a funny feeling one day they could be making whiskey. So I want to check them out. I'm curious about them. They are in Saskatoon. So maybe I can do an interview in a live show or just an interview with their master distiller. She is a lady originally from Newfoundland that has a chemistry background and worked in Scotland somewhere. Yeah, work is just fine and the usual for me as well. So there you go. There are 3 viewers. Only one's talking, so the other ones are snooping. Anyway, trying to enjoy what I would call my evening off. But to do with a can, my father, years ago, 20 years ago at least, minimum, when they first came out with O'Doul's, the de-alcoholized beer. I don't know why he was going for it. I think he just liked it. He says it tastes good. It was not bad. But he bought it, and you could buy it in the grocery stores. He opened it up, and thankfully, he poured it into a glass all the time. He poured it into a glass, and to the top floated a perfect, same diameter as a beer can, layer of mold, probably, anywhere from 3 to 5 millimeters thick of mold on the top. He was like, whoa. So from now on, I actually will pour my canned drinks, at least partially, into a glass before I actually take a drink out of it. I don't live paranoid about it, but yeah, sometimes it's best to do. How long are you there on this? We're probably downtime. Although, well, today's Monday, Tuesday. We have a big long bake out to do for the material that we're installing, so I may have to be there to witness and observe all that stuff. We have a subcontractor doing the bake out. So, one of those things, and then I'm done. Who knows what I'm going to do after that? I think it's this year time to spread my wings and do a little experimenting. One thing I have to do is get my health back. I'm not unhealthy per se, but I'm going to be if I don't change a few things. I think that's something everyone deals with. It's not a big deal, but I want to work on it. Need to go home and take care of Julia. Help her. It's been a long time away. What else is going on with you, Loch Ness? Talk to me, buddy. while you're at work. Oh, I got to get a hold of Whiskey in the Six. I keep forgetting to get a hold of them. And I need to do some reading. And I need to see about going to Scotland. I really need to go somewhere. I need to do something. Change the brain. Sitting around drinking scotch and whatnot's great, but it's not what I like. Hey, George. How you doing? I'm having some Canadian beer, Original 16. If I were you, I'd type that up and read about them. Because what I was just telling Loch Ness is I'd like to get a hold of them and do an interview. The lady that is the master distiller is from Newfoundland originally, but trained in or worked in Scotland. I want to check this out. Our story, an impending closure. And how's my signal, guys? I'm using the Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi. 16 guys went all in for beer. They were going to close it down. Double aged and worth the wait. They even have a U.S. site, right? Anyway, I would seriously check it out. Their people are awesome. And I'm glad they focused on that because there's an old quote. Oh, and I forget the guy's name. A famous American iron steel founder. Oh, same last name as a famous motivational book writer. Anyway, what he says is, if you take away my people, my factories will crumble. If you take away my factories but leave me my people, I will build new, better factories. So we need to remember that. Bourbon Shenanigans, Mike, how you doing? Are you at work? Civil holiday long weekend here in Ontario. This coming weekend, I'm heading to Quebec for the weekend. Oh, are you? You'll be in Quebec, and maybe you can meet up with Viva Fry. Carnegie, thank you very much. George Carnegie. Yes. Funny that George Kaplan remembers who George Carnegie is. Yes, again, I am drinking this Original 16 beer. But what I have beside me are two from the same distillery that I bought just before coming out here. And I bought them for a reason, because I actually, and you've heard me say this or chat about it, I kind of boycott them because I was buying their stuff in the beginning. Everyone was telling me, you got to buy this. The age statement's going to be gone. We're going to non-age statement, blah, 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 blah. And what a pile of poppycock. There's two of them that I kind of like to boycott. I never buy their main range. One is Balvenie. I don't like the fact that Balvenie and their main range is 40% ABV in Canada. It is in the UK as well, but in the US it's 43. And they say that it has something to do with taxes, which is baloney. It is, at least in my province, it would have to be over 61% above ABV to go into a different tax bracket. So what I have, and hold on, honest to God, don't get too excited, because we can buy this. We have the new double barrel 12 cask in Alberta and in Canada. And everyone's like, yeah, awesome. It's good, the new stuff, right? And we've got edition number 1, 2, 3, and 4. What a pile of horse crap. So they're doing what other companies did already, right? And this is our wonderful friend, the Macallan. But this is their new triple cask. Okay? Now, the amazing thing when I saw this was triple cask. I went, oh, what happened to the fine oak, which I bought a bunch of because I was told it was going out? This triple cask, you can't see here, but here you can, is 43%. What's that? Pile of crap. If I go back to the other ones, that we used to get, they were 3% less. So it's not a bad looking whiskey. It's a nice bottle, very similar to their old bottles, a little bit more of a triangle here. But here's the amazing thing that I found. If you guys can see it, not too much glare, and the thing clears up this way. Right there. There's no French on this, so if you're in Canada, by law, it has to be bilingual. There's no French on this. Also, what it says is imported by Edrington, Americas, New York, New York. They brought these in, or they accidentally brought them in. I'm told that they brought them in on purpose, which is cool. I sent out a tweet to guys, hey, you want to grab some of these before they take them off the shelf? And the actual guy said, no, I ordered them on purpose. 3%. Who are they trying to fool? You know, oh, we're running out of age statements, so we got to do this and that. So I got some because I know from a friend in the States, Sam Spears. You may see him on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Sam says there's a difference. Whiskey in the Six, Rob, he's tried them. They're different. But this is the double cask, which we all were getting. And in the States, it was 43%. And in Canada, it was 40. I don't know if that bothers any of the rest of you. Maybe I'm rambling and just sounding like a whiner. It's almost the exact same bottle as the original bottles. Again, it says imported by Edrington. This was right beside the original bottles that we get in Canada that are only 40%, but this is 43. Now in Alberta, it doesn't change anything for us. The price doesn't change. Look it up. I can show you. We have our tax bracket wouldn't change unless we went up to 61%. Now, maybe I should keep my mouth shut. Maybe other guys should keep their mouth shut about Alberta, because I think that our pricing, well, it might catch us later. If you're getting a good deal on something, button it up and just take the good deal. Don't blabber it all over the place. Sooner or later, we won't have that good deal. They'll think, hey, man, we should charge more. Thanks, my 3 fine friends, for letting me rant and rave. Oh, it's so bad you guys are at work and can't enjoy this beer with me. Tempted to open one of those up, but I'm not in the mood to tell you how good it tastes after I just ranted about them not being that great. What do I have over there? Yesterday was a day off, so we drank more, and I did a little review with a guy, or a taste test with this fella. So I think I'm just going to have a nip of of the Cavalan, which I'm very impressed with. And I may have to buy another one of these if they're still on sale. Does any of you 3 guys still remember your first whiskey? And it was when you were really young, and did you pour it into Coke or ginger? Oh, yeah. I wish I had a regular Glencairn, though. These are hard to nose with. And I've been sitting out in the patio because the guys are right here. It's a smoke area and a patio. It's at the barbecue and a park bench sort of thing. But when you're outside, it's harder to nose because we get a light breeze and you lose everything quite a bit. Your first was Makers. I have, and I should do something with it, with my friend the Malt Troll. I have some Makers New Make, old Makers New Make. Old as in I probably have had it for about 4 years. It's a sample bottle of New Make that you're not supposed to sell. It's just a sample. Because he did some fundraisers, but he did a bourbon taste one. So, Maker's Mark. I like Maker's Mark. I like the way they spell whiskey the correct way. There's 2 bourbons I know of Maker's Mark, and one other that spell it without the E. And I believe that if we look it up in the law in the States to do with bourbon, it is also spelled without an E. Don't ask me why. And there's a couple places where I live where they blatantly spell it with an E because they read it off a Jim Beam bottle and didn't check anything else. Anyway, who cares? I don't care how they spell it. As long as they make it the right way. So I have question mark, Makers, question mark. I don't know what you mean by the question mark, other than what I already said, is I have some White Dog from Maker's Mark. I kind of like the idea of White Dog. I don't like the idea of people making White Dog and selling it. Yours was on a flight, probably Johnny Walker Red, tasted like drinking oil to me, and I thought, how could anyone drink that? Then how did you end up continuing? So while you're typing that or thinking about it, I used to get whatever whiskeys or rum sipped from my father. Or my dad was a Navy boy. He was from here, the prairies. He was from an area called Melfort, Saskatchewan. His father was an engineer on the train station. Somehow, obviously, he was pretty big for his age, I guess, at 15. And his dad walked in with him and said, yep, he's old enough. And he joined the Navy. Why would they hire a kid from the Navy or from the prairies to be in the Navy? From what I've been told, it is because the horizon. They were comfortable with seeing the horizon for hours. Didn't bother them on the ships and so on. So they found out they were pretty good that way, I guess. He tried to become or work in the submarines, and that didn't work out, which now he is very grateful it didn't work out because he's still alive. Our subsystems are pretty poor, I think. Anyway, Dad, Navy boy, so it was rum. But they always had whiskey. I didn't know any different. I didn't know anything, but it hurt and it burned. It was terrible. And then many years ago, many, I'd say it's almost 10 years, actually. And I didn't start collecting, and now I got to think back a bit. I had a girlfriend. We went to a fundraiser at a place called the Windspear Center in Edmonton. You can look it up. You will find that it is listed in the top 10. I think it's in the top 5 places for music and acoustics. I may be wrong in that numbering system, but it's highly rated. I think somebody compared it to the music place in Sydney, Australia. They had a thing called Hopscotch, and it was a fundraiser. And I went there, and there was a girl that I knew from a liquor store working behind one of the tables. And so it was beer and whiskey. And they had some fashion show stuff on, right? Because it's downtown Edmonton. And she had a 30-year-old under the table. She said, here, try this. And it was a 30-year-old scotch, and it was phenomenal. I don't know what it was. I've only run into her once in last year. And, yeah, it was awesome. So then I started buying and experimenting because I had some friends that liked whiskey. A few years older than I am. And I don't know how I ended up going to a whiskey festival. And I met some people somewhere else. And I remember the first time I was handed something at the whiskey festival, it wasn't a scotch. I went, I don't want that. It's not scotch. He says, try this. I went, all right. And I loved it. It was freaking wicked. It was a rye from High West, double rye, and it was phenomenal. I got started late in life. Later, it was someone ordering Lagavulin 16 for dessert after dinner. Loved the smell and then ordered one. That started it for me. So what made you love the smell? Are you a smoker? Are you a cigar guy? Were you not, and then you became one because of cigarettes or smoky peated whiskeys? And Loch Ness. My grandfather joined the Navy at 16 on the H-8 Hespeler out of the East Coast. He liked his rum too. Yeah. So this is where And Mike, do you know what proof means? Why do in the U.S. and occasionally up here they'll tell you that it's 100 proof? Come on, bourbon shenanigans! I'm testing you. Why is the U.S. using 100 proof? HMSC Hespler sounds familiar to me. Loch Ness. My father's, I'd have to get. I got more information from one of my sisters when my mom passed away. My dad's birth certificate, and so forth. My dad's mom was from France. Come on, anybody answering that question yet? No, nothing to do with bond. Well, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but bond tax, is that why they use 100 proof bond tax? Because that's not where it originated from. Do you want a second chance? I'm waiting. Are you guys typing like this, one finger at a time like a chicken? Imagine what I'd be like if I got into whiskey. Yes, it's bond tax. Or you want a second chance. It is alcohol. I'm going to give you the Wikipedia answer. And because when you do a live show, I want you to know this, right? I want you to be ready. I love the smell of pipe tobacco. See, I like the smell of pipe and cigar tobacco, but I won't smoke it, right? Exactly. None of the side facts. 1897. 1897 is what? Is the year of the bond tax. I'm going to type this in for you. You can look it up and read it. Bond tax may be the reason why, right? The UK now uses the ABV standard instead of alcohol proof. In the United States, alcohol proof is defined as twice the percentage of ABV. The measurement of alcohol content and the statement of content on bottles of alcohol beverages is regulated by law in many countries. The term proof dates back to the 16th century England, when spirits were taxed at different rates depending on their alcohol content. Spirits were tested by soaking a pellet of gunpowder in them. If the gunpowder could still burn, the spirits were rated above proof and taxed at a higher rate. As gunpowder would not burn if soaked in rum that contained less than 57.15% ABV. Rum that contained this percentage of alcohol was defined as having 100 degrees proof. The gunpowder test was officially replaced by specific gravity test in 1816. Maybe we're on the same track, eh? But what my father told me is that they would do that, the pellet test, I guess, to make sure that they weren't diluting their rum rations that they got. I was asking about 100 proof or proof, the term proof. Where does the term proof come from? And it's because I like to joke with my US friends that it's because 100 proof equals 50% because they like to do easy math. From what it says is 100 proof would be 57.15. The value 57.15 is very close to the fraction of 4/7. You're the engineers, guys. I don't know anything about this. This led to the finishing amounts of declaring that 100% proof spirit was an ABV of 4/7. Sounds a little complicated, doesn't it? We're just drinking alcohol. So my father said in the Navy that they would add a drop or two of the alcohol or soak a pellet of gunpowder to test if they were diluting their rum rations, because they got a ration of rum every day. And they had to be careful. He told me guys that would be locked away because they would go from alcohol poisoning because it was high proof. You can check it out. It's on Wikipedia. I ain't no intelligent person. Half the stuff that almost everybody on here talks about, despite whether they've done research or not, they are just repeating verbiage that they've already heard or learned from something else or someone else. And it says that the proof system in the United States was established around 1848 and was based on percent alcohol rather than specific gravity. 50% alcohol by volume was defined as 100 proof. Note that this is different than 50% volume fraction expressed as a percentage. The latter does not take into account change in volume or mixing, whereas the former does. To make 50% ABV from pure alcohol, one would take 50 parts of alcohol and dilute it to 100 parts of solution with water. Have I bored you to death? Bourbon Blind, what's up? Well, good day, Habs. I'm rambling on here trying to sound like a genius, but really it's Wikipedia that's a genius, or whoever wrote it for Wikipedia. And I'm drinking a Canadian beer from Saskatchewan called Original 16 on my day off, or on my night shift morning off, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of like almost 7 o'clock p.m. for me, even though it's in the a.m. And I'm drinking some ex-Bourbon Oak Cavaline. So for you bourbon guys, Bourbon Shenanigans and Bourbon Blind, and there's another Bourbon Blind, is there not? Or Bourbon John, Bourbon Blind Reviews, right? And Blind or Bourbon Nights. Bourbon Blind, your logo is just a big black circle right now. What the heck? Anyway, I would say if you guys delve into Scotch, that's where I would go. I would go to Virgin Oak or ex-bourbon barrel Scotches, just the pure stuff. That's where I'd go. I had you fooled. What did I have you fooled? Oh, that I was a genius. Yeah, well, there you go, buddy. I got to pull the wool over one guy's eyes. I think you're all good guys within the realm of the chat. Don't know in person, but you wouldn't keep chatting with the a-holes. But who knows? Half of the guys in the chat could be serial killers for all we know. You're looking for Bell Blair 1990 for myself. Well, I think that would be a good one. What is it, the one I have here? Where'd it go? Oh, I have a 97. I have a 1990 at home. This is good stuff. I like it. I haven't had any of them so far that I didn't like. That Cavaline is phenomenal. It's obviously you get the Bourbon Oak right away. Vanilla. It's 46% ABV. It was a little too deep and too fast. So why do you want the 1990 Bell Blair? What was your thoughts behind that, Mike? And nice quiz on the Scotch for Dummy thingy there. And thanks for the shout out. Hope they gave you some of that super chat money to buy a mic with. Those guys seem a little tight with their money. Don't know. I don't know about all of them. A couple of them, I think, yourself and guy behind the computer kind of cool, but a couple of them, you can tell them. Hey, Dr. Ragland, how you doing? Am I a philosopher? Do I sound like a philosopher? I'm no philosopher. Common sense, and I don't have any of it, man. Don't fool yourself. Actually, at this plant here, I forget who I said it to. One of the, well, he's an engineer of some sort, about the fact that they don't make any sense. And he says, no, we make potash. We don't make sense. You tried it with those guys. Well, it is good. And I have a bottle of it home, maybe two. I can't remember. And Ralphie just put out a review for 2005 Balbelair. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the extra that he had after it. Well, I kind of fell asleep. Don't tell the boss. Sure, I would do that too. I am the Plato of the whiskey world. I don't know. Roy called me the Canadian version of John Wayne, which I got a few sayings maybe. I don't know what made him say that. But, you know, I like John Wayne. Although one of my favorite John Wayne movies is not a Western. Nor is it a military movie. It's called The Quiet Man. I was invited on to the Scotch Test Dummies impromptu. I just happened to have that day off when I was in Moose Jaw. And they said, come on. And they were testing Two Brewers whiskey, the bottle of whiskey that I had sent them. It's a single malt from Whitehorse in Canada. And then Roy was around and he came on too. And somehow I ended up being John Wayne of Canada. Everybody gets a nickname in this group, I think. Plato? Maybe I could be. Philosophy. I think that's kind of like someone that's, I'm an artist. I'm a philosopher. You're... Again, use your head for more than a hat rack. Well, I'll tell you, this one here, which I almost spilt on my keyboard. Light honey. Definitely getting that bourbon, especially the after taste. You get the bourbon really draws out of it. Very light on the bourbon, but certainly there. You can tell. 20 stores and you haven't found one. No spilling. I know this is a very expensive freaking computer. It's my second Apple. My last one I bought in 2008. So I know a lot of people are like, they're too expensive. Yeah, but you buy a $500 computer every year or every other year if you're really good with it. And yeah, whatever. And this keyboard, they got something in here that they don't know if you spilt on it. There is a case or there is a little tiny cover. You wouldn't even know what's on there that works. And I should have bought it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Keep looking. If you can't find one, Bourbon Shenanigans, at least I could send you a sample down. At the very least. But you and Blind, Bourbon Blind, because I like the way they do their show. I haven't watched much of it, but if you guys haven't picked up on them, subscribe to them. Maybe I'll use you guys as well. I'd like to do a Canadian single malt blind review thingy. Steal some ideas from Mr. Aquavite. Just picked up a Mac Mini. Oh, the computer. Yeah, I like them. I didn't pick up a Mac Mini. I picked up a MacBook Pro. Although I'm not much of a pro, but it weighs, woo. It compared to the company computer, which is an HP Elite, this thing weighs, it's solid. It's a solid computer. That's all I'm gonna say. Yes, I think we should get into a couple chats here, do some things. Being newer guys and guys just starting out, whatever way it is, and do some stuff, right? I really appreciate the support of all the guys. But my honest opinion is that everybody here in the chat are your best supporters, right? Getting a leg up with some things because of Malta de Montreal, Scotch Test Dummies, and so on. I had no plan on doing this type of stuff, but I enjoy it. I am enjoying it. Got to find the right balance and do the right things. See where I'm going to go with it. But it's honestly everybody that's in this chat, especially that's in this chat right now. Then we know Santa Cruz and we know Richie Z, Tom R, definitely Amy. I don't know how she puts up with George and all the whiskey friends, but she does a hell of a job. Don't you agree, George? Mike Gordon's in Boston used to have it. Not sure if they ship. There you go, Mike. Can you phone Mike Gordon's? Oh no, Mike Gordon's in Boston has it. It helps. I wonder why can't you make your? Oh, I can. I can make my chat huge. Press that button. I can actually make the chat bigger. Of course, I lose half the chat when I do that. Huh? This mouse is amazing. Good hanging out with you guys again, and you take care, Bourbon Blind. Don't work too hard. Stay out of trouble. Okay. Would you guys like to see more reviews that are actually with distilleries? And does it matter if it's only whiskey? And the master distiller for Original 16's name is Amanda Butt. Poor girl. Probably had lots of jokes about that. There we go. That's what I'm trying to figure out. There's certain things to do that are a little bit different. And George, I have your inventory, your Excel spreadsheet on my computer here now. I keep looking at it, but why no internet for Amy this week? Did you cut her off? Was she misbehaving? And you're just like, that's it, no internet, young lady. Last name is Whore. Oh, I actually went to high school I actually dated a girl whose brother, their last name was McDonald, and for whatever reason, the mother and father named him Ronald. That kid, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get harassed. And to make it worse, he was a redhead and freckled. They're like, damn it, we didn't want another kid. We're going to name you the worst name ever. You're an Amish Tucky. Amish Tucky? She took her husband's name. Yeah, well, you mean that was her maiden name before she got married? Go Habs. Yeah. And I used to work in a men's clothing store. And I came in one day, and of course I had to do something with all the tailoring. Yeah, the guy's name was Ronald McDonald. Of course, he changed his name to Ron McDonald or whatever, but you know what it's like in high school. Anyway, the guy's name was Harry, and his last name was Dick. That was on the tailoring thing. Another person that just, Harry Dick. Okay, of course, everybody had a laugh. I never got that. Sure. We all can rhyme and tease each other about the names. That's why people like Go Habs has a fake name on here. Brother name. Yeah, the Hamburglar. I used to like the Hamburglar, but I remember a family, their kids were scared to death of the Hamburglar. That's probably why they got rid of him. He was a little, he wasn't really like, whatchamacallit from Popeyes. So I gladly, what was it? Was just informed that they do not deliver to my location. Son of a beach. Emma Jean Pig, a cousin's name. Emma Pig? I'm a pig? Oh, come on. That's not real. You got to be kidding me. You're dead. Okay, if he's a huge fan, I got to give it to him. Go Habs. Was he watching a hockey game when you were born? And they, just as they asked him, what do you want to name him? He just yelled out, "Go Habs." Oh, man, I got a freaking mosquito bite on the end of my, right on the side of the foot. Oh, I'm a pig. That can't be real, George. Leaf sucks. Oh, well, if that was a real name, it would be even worse. You guys make me laugh. So what do you think of that? McCallum's having 43% for our U.S. brothers and only 40 for us. I think it's a pile of crap. I do. I honestly do. Amish Tucky. Are you saying you're not home? Because you don't live in Kentucky, George. Anyway, I got to start recording. Oh, wait a minute. I did record this. Bourbon shenanigans. Get back to work. Engineer things safely so nobody gets electrocuted or whatever it is you do. Somehow I think you have something to do with that. And I'm going to enjoy my Cavalan. But I'm going to finish my beer first because that's the way I like to finish it off. George, are you working out of town or are you home? And Go Habs, are you still on vacation, is it? Summer vacation for you? Safety first. Anybody in here an SMWS member? There's only 5 of us. That's what I should get. And I didn't get any because I thought it was a ripoff. For my bourbon brothers, bourbon blind, bourbon shenanigans, I should get an SMWS bourbon. Oh, so itchy. SMWS bourbon. I wonder, I'm going to look it up right now. Not SMWS, doorknob. Oh. See if there's any bourbons in stock. Got to make this bigger. Oh, there's an outrun coming up. I won't be home for it. Just click on the outrun thing. You'll find it. Must be under the whiskey archive, gentlemen. You are in Kentucky, working on Amy's parents' house. They're getting. Oh, okay. So but you don't live in Kentucky, but you're in Kentucky. I got to come to Kentucky and do the bourbon tour. But I have a couple people that I've met down there, live down there through social media that I think I'd like to get on my show. One guy, Tony, I think he works at, is it Total Wine down there? And are they selling it so they can move in with you guys? I am picking up a couple of bottles of Macallan Sherry at 43 soon, New Hampshire. You're going to New Hampshire and you're going to pick up Macallan Sherry. So are they old Macallan Sherry or there's something new that's coming out? Because, I mean, this is the company that said we're running out of, and they tried it in Canada first. They're still stuck with hundreds and hundreds of bottles of the NAS stuff, amber and all that garbage. Anyway, the Whiskey Archive. And I am viewed by region. Can't review by region. Maybe. Do they have a blend more? How is Arkansas a region? Grain, rum. It starts with a B if it's bourbon. That's all I know. Somehow I had this. I was going through this at work last week. Babyface arsonist. Okay, I gotta look this one up. Baby-faced refill Eiley. Sweet, salty, resinous. Name of the panel's utterances on first nosing. Faraway fish smokehouse. Sweet barbecue. You guys gotta read these. I love them still. But I need to Babyface arsonist. I don't think I saw that one. It's probably and it's sold out. Figures. Anyway, I want to see. I should get a bourbon. Kind of put my foot down against it and said no. I should get a bourbon. Marmite. What the hell is Marmite? Marmite XO. It's a rum. Mint hummingbirds. Number 5. Wonder if they have that one. I got their first gin. Gee whiz. Nope. That's mint. Oh, that's rum. Oh, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm back. Work is so inconvenient, but necessary. Yes, it is. Macallan Sherry Oak 12. Okay. But when was that put out? It's already in Michigan. Just need to sell this one, not all now. Right on. Tennessee. I love the conversations between people about Tennessee sour mash and bourbon. Can I get this little bug? Yep. He was sleeping and I crushed him. Not very nice, eh? Work is, for you, can be a pain in the ass or a pain in the neck or a pain in the hip or a pain in the shoulder. Cavalion. Ex-bourbon. Good stuff. Yeah, man. Where did the bourbons go? From the SMWS. I buy almost every Scotch grain that comes out. Bourbon. There it is. Number 3 bourbon. That's all they have listed here is B3.1. Sold out. They don't even tell you the price when it was sold out. It was only 2 years old. I bet you it was close to $200. That's why I didn't buy it. So there's no way bourbon has to be that expensive. C1 cognac. Very unique to get a cognac from the SMWS because it's single barrel, single cask, and that's usually never, ever, ever done with cognac. It's always a blend. Well, guys, I do appreciate you guys showing up. It is good not to have to chat by yourself. Although I did do that yesterday, interestingly enough, at about 2 o'clock with one of the guys that's with a subcontractor for us. Travis, nice guy, real good guy. Actually, I liked him, and he'd been to a bourbon thing one time in Edmonton. It's a bar, not a bourbon thing, a whiskey thing. And he had the way he described when they delivered this $45 ounce to him, and he went, "Do you have any ginger?" And he says the record player stopped playing, and everybody just snapped their head and looked at him. It's kind of funny. So we did it live yesterday, and the only guy that came on, because it was 2 o'clock in the morning here, was Food Quig from his taxi. Because I'm sure if he was usually Sundays, he must be working extra hours and longer to make more money because he's booked a trip to Scotland already. I think everybody's trying to get on the bandwagon for Scotland. Yeah, the only guy, but it was still fun little 29 minutes. I like talking to people that are open-minded but know nothing about whiskey, right? I get lots of times where people, will you please talk to my girlfriend? She swears to me that scotch is not whiskey. And I'm like, okay, sure. Just get a bottle. I'm pretty sure it says Scotch whiskey right on it. I don't know why I have to prove it to you. Scotch whiskey. Anyway, you guys have all been through the same thing. Little Bowel Blair. Wow, that Bowel Blair. Interesting. Put it in, and it shot the whiskey back up. Whatever little tiny amount was left in there from the Cavalin. Little slightly different viscosity, I would assume, the whiskeys, so when you blend them together. Well, George, you give Amy a hug for me. I have a way with women. What? George, what did I say that made you say that? Because I have a way with women. How do you know I have a way with women? What did Julia tell you? Listen, I don't know if I have a way with women. There's two types of women in the world for me, George. Those who like me and those who don't. Simple as that. And it's pretty much the same with everyone else. I have a brother that's very much like that as well. A lot of people are like, that guy's an a-hole. Until they get to know him, type of thing. I could be kinder. I could be gentler. Julia needs kinder, gentler. But she also needs to be stronger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you're right. I let him tell her. I just said, go pick up a bottle next time you're picking out wine and show her that it says whiskey right on it. I don't have time for that tomfoolery anyway. I'm trying to get all my beer out. Beer and whiskey combined. I just remember what my mom told me about a man and a woman. And that a relationship, she said to me this, relationships between a husband and wife are not 50-50. Relationships are 100%, 100%. Now, I'm saying this to you guys because there's no women involved and in this chat right now. They can watch later, and maybe I'll have some deniability. Maybe not after saying it and leaving it on the records. What my mom was trying to tell me is that 100%, 100%. No 50% where I give, now I wait to get my 50%. If 100% is giving all the time, both sides are always giving, so both sides are always receiving. That's all my mom told me. And that was her birds and the bee talk. My dad's bird and the bee talk was a little bit different. And it took me a few years to figure it out, but I did. I think it was because he had to learn how to be better with my mom and tolerant, and vice versa. So it's 100%, 100%. Dear old mom was 88 years old when she passed away, and dad is now 91. He was 3 years younger than mom. Go Habs, you always ask the hardest questions. And I'm not answering that question because you are going to try and throw an innuendo in there. Bastard. But to be fair, I don't think so. And I'm not talking about that stuff. Yes, George. In 2017, I made a trip to Tennessee and visited George Dickel, Jack Daniels, and finally Pritchard's Distillery, small distillery. I was not driving, so go to Scotland. You're awesome, Dr. Ragland. I'll tell you, I'm going on. If I go, it'll be with a tour group through the liquor store, Keg and Cork, that I did a short little live of, where I opened up the bottle of Muse and shared it with the staff. Part of what's going to be great about that is actually anyone that goes is going to be involved in choosing a barrel from the Adelphi distillery, which that's not what they call it. It has a different name. Yeah, she might not watch the replay. She's not supposed to be watching any television or any videos, even though I saw that she was in the STD chats and you guys were there chatting with her, and I was passed out. I was tired, man. I didn't see any of the lives. I missed Swami. I missed Scotch Test Dummies. I missed Eric Waite, everything. It was a nice break for everybody, probably not having me in chat, but that's what happens. Dr. Ragland, one of the fun things that I heard down there from some people I knew that went down, one of them is another liquor store manager and a rep, did the Bourbon Trail. Excuse me. They were at Maker's Mark, and a local farmer came in to sell his corn, and they turned him away. They did whatever tests they do, and I believe it had to do with moisture. And while they were there, they asked, well, why didn't you buy his corn? And they said because it was too low in moisture. They said, well, what are they gonna? What does he do now? And they said, well, he'd probably just go down and sell it to Four Roses or somebody else, right? So, I mean, the guy I know, Adam, came back with a much higher respect for Maker's Mark than he had initially. Said that they're very fussy about their ingredients. So, good sign. I think some of that is very good, and I think some of it depends on what they can afford. I'm sure if you get what you want, you may have to pay more, right? George, and I'm still looking at that comment, shaking my head. Get me in trouble, Julia. Anyway, guys. So, Loch Ness, I don't know if you're still watching because you're at work. Sorry, guys, I keep scratching that freaking mosquito bite. No, there's lots of good stuff. Standards, yes. Love Maker's Mark. No reason to purchase expensive bourbon. Nope. I have an old release of Maker's. What is it? Maker's 47. The one that's got some bourbon or sherry in it or whatever. Yeah, that's probably about a 5-year-old release. Maybe older. I always round everything to 5. Rambling, thinking. I am now. You got me thinking about this original 16 and Amanda Butt as the master distiller. I am going to look up more about them. I knew the story about 16 former employees buying up and pooling their money together to keep the distillery. But just tonight I read a bit more about it. I was very impressed. It's probably not easy. I don't have that great a channel where they're going to go, oh, yeah, this guy's awesome. He's very professional. But maybe we'll do some sweet talking and see. I'm hopefully going to do something with the Glenmorangie rep for Canada, the guy from Scotland. Oh, you're a doorknob. Go Habs. I actually worked with a guy named Butt. He was Egyptian, Arabish. Called him Hair Baka. One of the hairiest back people I've ever seen in my life. Yep. Amanda Butt, government ordained. Amanda as the company's new brewmaster and innovation ambassador. A native of Newfoundland, Butt holds a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry and a Master of Science degree in brewing and distilling. She comes to Great Western from Boston Beer Company, which she worked as brew manager and head of the research and development brewing operation. Previous to that, she worked in various roles at Labatt's. She says, I'm excited to return to Canada to join the award-winning team of Great Western. In a statement, my focus throughout my career has been on brewing, creativity, innovation, and continuous improvement. Brewing is my passion, and I plan to pour that passion into continuing Great Western excellence. She was replacing brewmaster Vivian Jones, who was retiring after a 50-year career. That is awesome, man. There are so many females in the brewing industry, too. Yep. I think it's worth a try, eh, guys? I think I can see Saskatchewan making. Richie Z, greetings. Are you driving right now, Richie Z? And actually, I just saw a picture of her, Go Have. She's actually a fairly attractive lady. So start being a gentleman. You old married guys getting away with crap. Later, George. Get busy and get that house fixed and ready and sold, buddy. I need to do some stuff when I get home, too. Don't know what to do. Tear my house down and build a duplex, maybe. Or just sell it all and buy a RV, a diesel pusher. Big enough to throw a motorbike into. George, give Amy a hug for us, will you, buddy? Let her know we're thinking of her. You're washing windows. That's a good job. My dad used to own his own janitorial company. To tell you the truth, cleaning things is actually satisfying. So ill. Driving, so I'll mainly listen. Not a problem. I'm almost done here, man. Anyway, it's been, how long have I been rambling on there, Go Habs? Rambling, man. Doop, 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 doop. Dr. Raglan must have got another patient. I like that beer. They've got a couple of other ones that are pretty good too. They got a Rattler. I have one can of Rattler, which is for, right after work when you want something refreshing, but not high in alcohol content. 1 hour already? Oh yeah, 1 hour. 6:30 is when I started. It's 7:30 now. I can do simple math if I just look at the clock. Well, there's a nice beer. Don't need my cell phone. Put it over here. I sent a text to my sweetie Julia before I started. Maybe I'll read a little of this. I got to find out what his role is now. This book is Charles MacLean. Anybody here know about Charles MacLean? Charles MacLean. We'll read what Charles MacLean is for you guys, just in case. Charles MacLean. Oh, my Lord, I'm getting so old. I got to take my glasses off. Lordy, Lordy. Scott is Scotland's leading whiskey writer. Having sacrificed a career in the law, he began to write about Scotch in 81. It became a full-time job after 1989, when he began working on what was to become the classic Scotch whiskey. Mitchell Beasley, first appearing in 1993 and subsequently revised a number of times. Pardon me, guys. Since then, he has published 10 further books on the subject, including the award-winning Whiskey: A Liquid History, Whiskey Tales, Eyewitness Companion to Whiskey, World Whiskies, and Whiskeypedia. MacLean was founding editor of the Whiskey Magazine and the Russian Whiskey, and was for many years contributing editor of the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society's newsletter. So he's been doing stuff with them for years, where he also chairs the nosing panel and writes little tasting notes. He contributes frequently to magazines around the world and is whiskey correspondent to the Scottish Field. McLean is whiskey consultant to Bonham's Auctioneers and is also the host of a television channel accessed via the internet dedicated to the world of whiskey, www.singlemalt.tv. He was trained by the Scotch Whisky Research Institute. He now chairs a number of tasting panels and is a member of the judging panel Spirits of the International Wines and Spirits Competition. Elected Keeper of the Quake in 1992 in recognition of his services to Scotch whisky over many years. He has elevated to Master of the Quake in 2009, the whiskey industry's highest accolade. Very cool. I've had this book for a couple of years now, and I really need to start reading more. I did read some of the stuff. I kind of like to find a picture and read about it, right? Engraving of a pot still with worm tub attached, 1897. Yep. Julia, where have you been? I've been on for almost an hour. I was going to leave. Now you're here. I could give you a phone call, say goodbye to these guys. Because if you go up a few comments and see what Go Habs asked me, now you're going to want to watch the whole video. Damn it. Damn you, Go Habs. I know you're sleeping. I could be sleeping right now too, but go to bed too early. I wake up earlier or too late. Yeah, too early, and then I wake up too early. And there's nothing to do until you go to work. You should come down here and do night shift with me. Would you like that? Thank you, Go Habs. No, don't worry about it, Julie. It's the whiskey talking. It wasn't me talking. It was the whiskey. You know me. I'm a legend. Anybody tell? Go ahead. Tell them what a legend is, Julia. Oh, Go Habs, you pot stirring little monkey. Yep. So, oh, I did not. I have a whole box full of rings. She can just pick one. I don't have to go shopping. Stuart called a legend last night. What do you mean he called a legend last night? Who did he call? Yeah, let's Go Habs. What did you... Julia, you told me you didn't care if you got a ring. Rings don't mean anything. This conversation is getting an hand. Oh. Stuart called me a legend last night? What are you talking about? I'm a legend, okay? In my own mind. Go Habs. Oh, you're lucky I like you. But I wonder if I could hire Swami to come over and visit you. I've got a scotch, a bottle or two that he wants. So, pretty sure we can have him come and visit you with some of his punk rock friends. Hey, Go Habs, how you doing? Come on outside. We'll talk, I'll talk to you. Come here. Come here. I don't know how to do the mafia thing in a French accent. I don't know. Maybe he will say, hey, come and talk to me, man. Julia, you know what Go Habs is like. Don't listen to that guy. Swami doesn't go to the burbs. Hey, he just did a trip 66, Route 66, I'm pretty sure that he would come by with a French accent and say, hey, I've got to pretend to have that French accent and I've got to talk to you in the back of your yard in the suburbs, huh? We'll get to talk to you bourbonites and say, hey, watch your mouth, huh? You're going to get the man in trouble. You can't do this to nobody no more. You know what I mean, huh? Is that like a French-Italian accent? Hey, you got to do this, you know? Don't make me come over there. I'll take all away your squeaky cheese and you'll be in trouble. Route 138 does not have the same appeal. No, I don't think it does. Route 66. I talked to him tonight. He was passed out. He got his own another room. He's not doing a room anymore. And he got his own room. He was kind of tired, but he was posting like picture after picture on Instagram. I'm like, dude, you got to learn how to do this. But anyway, he doesn't want to learn. Richie, watch the road. Julia, don't distract Richie. He's driving and working right now. You know all about getting in accidents, don't you? You got a little concussion there, or a big one, or medium, a medium concussion. Anyway, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to finish this little bit of whiskey. This is 1997 Bal Blair, 15-year-old. It's very good. And then I'm going to go in my bed, and I'm going to call Julia. Swamley be converted American. Won't let him back in Canada. I know he's talking with a southern drawl. No, I work with a lot of guys from the States. Right now, there's a guy, he's from Pittsburgh. Now, he doesn't really have a southern drawl. He's just got a different accent. He's not southern. But he's been drinking Canadian beer. And he drinks his beer pretty fast. But then he stood up and he fell down pretty fast. I could not believe it. Felt bad for the guy. He's a heat treatment specialist up here for the company that we subbed from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh. Anyway, he fell right over. Oh, yeah. That was funny. He didn't get hurt. Could have, but he didn't get hurt. Yeah. So, but you never know. Swami could. I mean, I like going anywhere. And you know what? If you leave the politics out of it, it's okay. I work with a couple guys. They say comments that are on the very verge of racism, but thanks, go Habs. But they're friends with all these different guys too that they've gotten to know on a personal level, and they like them, and it doesn't matter that they're from whatever country or whatever nationality. But if they don't know you, sometimes it's hard. We all get to get rid of these borders and get to know each other. Because that's all we're all trying to do, man, is survive. And the corporations they don't care. So they just want us to keep working and making more machines for them. There is no shopping. Diamonds are not rare. They are a ripoff. They're a huge monopoly. Underneath the Kremlin, there are boxes and boxes and bags of uncut diamonds. There's nothing rare about them. Canada doesn't need it. Well, we do need a wall. Just around Quebec. Yeah, now wait for that response, Dr. Ragland. We just need a wall around Quebec. Go Habs. Montreal is great. And my favorite Montrealer is Viva Fry. You guys look Viva Fry up on YouTube. Glad you know I'm joking, buddy. Although I have several Quebec friends in Edmonton, and they swear that this place we have called the Cheese Factory makes the best cheese curd they've ever had. And one of the reasons why is they don't. It's a tie between you and Swami. They don't use any powder. It's all real cheese curds and whey. On that note, one time when I'm back at home, I'll probably open up a bottle of vodka from England that's made with cow's milk. Jason, whiskey wise, everyone's going on here like that close to going to sleep. How's it going, buddy? I'm drinking, well, I was drinking some Cavalion ex-bourbon. And I was having a original 16. It's a locally made beer, probably 2 hours from here. And I'm finishing it off with a 1997 Bal Blair. I like this. I got it on special sale price because it didn't have its box. And I hounded the guy until he gave me one. So here I am. And Go Habs has now got Julia's hopes up, and I will probably have to crush them. All about rings. The best part about Julia. I think it is. I agree with you 100%, Jason. I think it's a great what they put out. Ralphie just put out the 2005 review. I didn't watch it. I just watched his extra after. This is good. Oh, really? Swami is going to be so crushed when he hears that, buddy. My favorite Montrealer is a guy named Viva Fry. What's the best thing about Julia? Julia is the best thing about Julia. There's not one thing about Julia. It's a package, right? Julia is sometimes, like most women, a little crazy. To me, it's a little crazy. But, you know, I have to stand up as a man and say certain things. And sometimes she's mad at me for saying them, and other times she understands. Swami who? Yeah, there is no Swami now. He's down in the States. He is Americanized. Yep. I'm pretty sure Dr. Ragland's right about that. Sammy. They'll call him Sammy. I never read the right to the end of the sentence. Look at Julia is great. Okay? Julia is special. But I need to make Julia stronger, better, faster. If you know what I mean. She is awesome. I better quit while I'm behind. I'm coming to the burbs. Right there. Make the whole thing vibrate. Give me about 6 months to work out. Get in shape before I get my ass handed to me by a Montrealer. Are you in Montreal, Go Habs, even? You're not even in Montreal directly, are you? I think I need to go to Dr. Ragland a few times, get myself adjusted and aligned, so I know what it feels like before I get myself crippled. Jason, if I come to Scotland, I won't even make it. I'll be directly to Scotland. You're across the river from Montreal. Oh. Yeah. Jason, whiskey-wise, what is the name for the Adelphi distillery? I know you're in London. I just had a thought in my brain, but you can. In October 9th to the 10th. 9th? No, 9th to the 19th, if I go. If Julia will let me go without her, I will go to Scotland. If she doesn't let me go, then you guys will hear me whining about it. Hashtag Julia Photography. I'm a lover, not a fighter either. My favorite John Wayne movie is The Quiet Man. Say October 9th to the 19th. I would love to bring Julia, but it's just bad timing. She's got to take care of herself first. Julia, stop. Oh, these guys get me in trouble with you. And what is Adelphi's distillery name? They opened up a distillery. I have some of their whiskey. Spirit. I have some of their spirit. It is not released yet. Oh, I gotta open this up. That is a very weird website. Did not work out for me. I'm trying to get to their website so I'm clear on some facts here. Scotland is beautiful for photography. I know she's been there. You're not bad timing. Oh, you're getting me in trouble. Blaming you for all of this. Yeah, are you coming to Canada at all this summer? You got my hopes up twice. They are their own distillery, but they are also an independent bottler. They are. Arden. I don't know. Rum chum. What the hell is rum chum? I'll look it up. I'll find it later. Asking people these questions I should have known already. Yeah. So we will visit the Aaron Distillery, Springbank, Tobermory, Ardna Merchant. I am sure that is Ardna Merchant. I am sure that's the one. No, Adelphi doesn't do the octaves. That's Duncan Taylor. Scotland's beautiful. You're still Montreal. I think they are their own distillery. I go to Scotland next year solo. It's okay. What do you mean you're going to go to Scotland next year without me? This is baloney. But I had to cancel as I'll be in Scotland from the end of this week for some time. You'll be in Scotland for some time? I want to share a dram or two too, but now welcome to Adelphi, Ardna Merchant Distillery. Yes, Adelphi Selection, rare Scotch whiskey. But one is a distillery and one does their own thing. Gunbag, rare Scotch whiskey. Distillery Discovery. There. I'm going to do my research. When am I coming out east? Man, I haven't been out east for everything. About something you mentioned earlier, in my line of work, I run across all types of people. I learn very quickly you can't mention politics nor religion to some folks, for they will be offended. You're absolutely right, David Ragland. You can mention these things, but you have to do it with a level of respect, even if they don't believe or agree in the same things you do. There are lots of things I will not mention on this website or this program, because it's just, you get a bombardment of people, right? Jason, you'll adapt to the cold. But Dr. Ragland, you're absolutely right. Is that what he's going to do? I heard him mention something, but I wasn't exactly 100% sure what he had decided. Why is this like this? And I was wrong earlier. It is not George Carnegie. It is Andrew Carnegie that said, take away my factories, but leave me my people, and I will build new factories. It was Andrew Carnegie. Have a good time at work, Dr. Ragland, making people feel good all day long. That's awesome. Yes, I know. 30 degrees in England. The last time there you told me what temperature it was, Jason, it was freaking plus 37. That's crazy. Duncan says, what does Duncan say, Richie? When am I coming out east? I should. I don't know when. It's, I don't know. I'll fly over it on my way to Scotland. Oh, no, I won't. We'll fly over Vancouver. I'm sure of it. It was 30 degrees today where I'm at and humid. It's a very wet area, even though we're not near too many big lakes. The moisture is in the ground. This is different. Very hard water here. Lots of minerals in it. Well, listen, Julia, where are you right now? Are you still in bed? Because of Go Habs, I now have to call Julia and dig myself out of a hole. She's a good woman. She won't pick on me too much. Yeah. So what I think Go Habs is mentioning is that he was thinking about doing an event himself, but not directly because of the Scotch Test Dummies. It was just some idea he had. I might do a live tomorrow, so I will talk about the channel and what's happening in the future. That is awesome, Jason. And I assume you mean your channel. Yes, Montreal is very romantic. But anywhere I go with Julia is romantic. I don't need no special places. I'm not going to say anymore because every time I do, Go Habs somehow has a way of convoluting things. So there. Anyway, I have one little drop in here, Jason. I would love to see what you're going to do and talk to you about it. You guys have a great night. And I'm going to say Salancha. Talk to you later.